All right, welcome back. Episode 232 of Chaotically Intolerant. We have another big episode. We got NFL wildcard round, divisional round, and a big coaching carousel. Everyone in the AFC North, except for one, is safe. We'll talk about all that. Go check out Draft America. Go check out Spring Hill Sports Cards. And let's go. All right, where do we start? Mike Tomlin? Start Mike Tomlin or John Harbaugh? John Harbaugh is going to the New York Giants. 5-year deal that's expected. They're just crossing some T's and dotting some I's, but it looks like that first coaching position is filled. And does it? I don't know. Maybe it's just because it's the Giants and so many other coaches haven't worked out since Tom Coughlin, but just doesn't feel right. This feels weird, right? It feels a little bit like crash and burn territory to me.
I don't know. I mean, Andy Reid, long time in one place. You move over. They needed an established coach. They've been rolling the dice with a lot of guys. I mean, they'll probably overpay for him, but
He's going to be the
I
highest
don't know.
paid coach in the NFL.
Right. And that's like not just, but it's just based on the fact that he's getting hired later, and then the next coach who gets fired and gets re-signed or rehired, like Tomlin, maybe will just become the next highest paid coach. Yeah, a little bit of an overreach. I mean, he needed a fresh start. So did the Ravens. So who knows? Maybe it'll work. Maybe he's scheming to bring Lamar Jackson over instead of Jackson Dart.
Yeah, the one thing that I really do like about this is getting an experienced offensive-minded head coach paired up with Jackson Dart. I think that, everyone agrees if you have a young quarterback, you need an offensive-minded head coach because if you have a defensive-minded head coach with a really good offensive coordinator, that coordinator is just going to go and get a head coaching job. But it's interesting. It's the Giants, so everything is going to be under a massive microscope. And I'm really excited for like the next 6 months roughly of the off season where everything Harbaugh does, everything they do is just going to be so hyped up. And then they might win like 7 games next year, which that'll be hilarious. Um, but no,
Yeah.
Harbaugh's a good coach. I'm not doubting it. It just feels like, again, I said the same thing with the Jaguars. I was right. I was 100% right. That these teams just, it's something about the energy. It's something about the energy in the room, the energy in the city, the uniforms, the stadium. And again, like the Giants, they are a historically successful franchise, but just the last 10 years not been so good to them. But we'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see. Um, Mike Tomlin gone. A 30-9, was it 30-9? The
30
final
to
30 to
6.
6, 30 to 6 loss. That's 7 straight playoff losses for Mike Tomlin. Really not good. Just it felt like it was time. I think I've been saying it. We both have been really saying it the last like 4 years that it was time. I feel like after the 2020 season, when you go 11-0 and then you finish the season 1-5 and then get your asses kicked at home by the Browns, that might be time to fire him. They kept him for 5 more years, did the same thing, and I guess he stepped down. Do we want to call it a resigning, or was it I'm going to let you resign because you've been here for so long. We're going to let you have some grace. That's what it felt like.
I think it was that. And I'm like, as terrible as it is that the Ravens didn't get that opportunity, like there's 10 other teams that didn't make the playoffs that would have put up a better fight than the pathetic, overrated Steelers. But I think that's what makes Mike Tomlin a great coach, to squeeze 10 wins out of that garbage team with a terrible old quarterback. I don't know how they do it year in and year out. It's like, it's all mind tricks and smoke and mirrors. And then eventually it catches up to them when it comes down to crunch time. They use like misdirection and this. It's like, they're like, ooh, and teams just get like mesmerized. They're not doing anything good. I mean, you can't tell me the Ravens, the Vikings, the Lions, the Falcons, the Bucks would not have all put up a better fight. So I think Tomlin it'll be up to him. I think if he wants a job, he can get one. One of the 6 remaining openings will go to him. If not, he'll be a TV personality most likely, or he takes a year off. I think Rodgers is done. Just sick of watching him, honestly. I think the Steelers are just, you're right. Like for years and years and years, they've been doing this. They're a 10-7, or they're a 5-12 team masquerading as a 10-7
Yeah.
team. Have been for a long time.
Well, and I think
I
they benefit from the AFC North because they know how to play AFC North football. And when you know how to
That's
do
true.
that, you can find your way into, you can find your way to winning 4 games, maybe just going 4-2 in your division. So then you got to find
Yeah.
4 other wins out there, 5 other wins. You're to 9 wins right there. That's a winning record. And almost every single average NFL team, there's 5 wins that are layups out there. And then you know how to play AFC North
Right.
football. So you can win 4 more, maybe 3 more there. So um, that's the AFC North is awesome, and I love the AFC North, but it can really let teams like that into the playoffs. I mean, I think the Bengals would have put up a better fight than the
Yeah,
than
I think
the
most teams,
Steelers did.
the way the Browns were playing, I think the Browns would have put up a better fight.
Yeah.
I mean, its Steelers were embarrassing, and they did exactly what I knew they were going to do when they stole that playoff spot from the Ravens. You're right. Like, and think about it, 2 years ago, they got in because the last game the Ravens rested Lamar, so they got to play Tyler Huntley. It's just stuff like that. They just scrape by. It's got to be sickening in a way to be a Steelers fan, and I love it. And I hope that I'm glad that their fans, it was the first playoff game they had with fans
Yeah.
since 2017, the 45-42 loss to the Jaguars when they were looking past them because they wanted a crack at beating Big Daddy, the Patriots. It's just the Texans just did what I think, it was 7-6 in the fourth quarter, and I thought Voodoo Magic was going to get the Steelers by, honestly, the way it was going with all the turnovers. But I think you saw, and everybody's like, oh, Houston's actually really, really good. They are good, but the Steelers are really, really bad. Really bad.
Yeah. Yeah. And Zach Taylor, the only one, I think he was confirmed this week since we last recorded to be staying in Cincinnati. They will be running it back with him officially. So he's the only one keeping his job, which is a shocker. I feel like he's just kind
He's
of,
got farther.
I feel like he's living off of
Yeah,
his Super Bowl appearance.
sure, but he's gotten farther than Tomlin and Harbaugh have. I mean, Tomlin 2010 last Super Bowl appearance, Harbaugh 2012, Stefanski never, Browns never. So
Yeah.
at least he's got that. But you're right. One more year for Taylor. They could blame the Burrow injuries a couple of years, but because they had that almost got in 2023. Jake Browning played well. Remember, they were 9-8. But then last year,
Did they lose that game? I remember there was that game against the Chiefs. Did that one knock him out?
they got knocked out. Yeah. And they hung tough in that game. The Chiefs that was the start of their 6-game winning streak that carried them to the Super Bowl. So
yeah. Did we have any other firings this past week? I feel like that
no,
was it.
Todd Bowles didn't get fired.
Todd Bowles did not get fired. That's it. Oh, I love that. We're gonna be making some major changes, but Todd Bowles is not one of them. And then he just starts firing everyone. It's like it's not my fault. It's definitely not my fault. I love that shit. Oh man, so funny. Were there any coaches maybe that should have been fired after this wild card round? Matt LaFleur, they're saying, could be one of them.
I think he gets one more year.
One more 18-point lead blown in the playoffs. I feel like this is going to be one of those, we should have fired him after this game, but we gave him another year or two.
Yeah. He's had enough success. And Green Bay is another one of those franchises that doesn't love to fire coaches,
Yeah.
So
yeah, well let's jump into the games and then we'll talk more kind of about the game specifically. Rams Panthers. Rams 34, Panthers 31. Panthers put up a fight. I don't know how that game was that close at halftime, but the Rams just kind of let them hang around the whole time. A lot of really just dumb mistakes from both sides, honestly. But Panthers, this felt like one of those get you some playoff experience. It gets those guys some playoff experience. Bryce Young, they're going to pick up his 5th-year option. But I don't know. What are we thinking about Matt Stafford? Because there's the debate on the MVP debate, and some people are saying Drake May would have never struggled with the Carolina Panthers. Carolina, they're not a bad team whatsoever. But where are we thinking with Matt Stafford here?
I mean, I think he's a Hall of Famer.
Finds ways to win, doesn't matter how.
Yeah, he does. I mean, the special teams Really, that's going to be the Rams' undoing if they don't make it to the Super Bowl. Defense, not great. Yeah, I'm glad the Panthers put up a fight. You know, it kind of justified a little bit them being in. They kind of backed in and they beat him once. They played him close both games. So I would say they, yeah, again, much more integrity than the Steelers did.
Yeah. Yeah. Bears Packers. The Bears, another one of those teams finding ways to win. Doesn't matter how. They don't care if they're down 18. It really never felt like they were, while they were down 18, it still didn't really feel like they were completely out of this game. It was like they were moving the football down the field on a lot of their drives, and they just weren't scoring. They weren't picking up their first downs on fourth down. And then all of a sudden they just unlocked, and you know they did what they do. But it's I mean, the Bears are really good. That's weird to say. They scored 25 points in the fourth quarter.
They did. Yeah. They really showed that this sort of late game magic, because remember they did it the week before against Detroit, and that was kind of like, oh well, they were exposed, but they came back in that game, and they just have this knack. It's not a good habit to be in, and the Rams are certainly going to put that to the test. But Chicago, they're at home. I mean, this Bears team is for real. I know the Packers are 9-17, whatever, but I was impressed. I was, and you're right. It just never felt like they were out of it, and that's how they feel, and that's why they're dangerous.
Yeah. I mean, you look at and you look at a guy like Brandon McManus. Again, another thing with special teams. Like special teams matter a ton, and he misses the extra point. You miss the field goal late again, and it's cold, so you can make the exception. But I mean, a 44-yard field goal with 2 minutes and 56 seconds left to make it at least a 6-point game. Just can't. I don't know how he hasn't been cut right now.
Yeah, I don't either. Green Bay hadn't been the same since Mason Crosby.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, this is another one of those. Jordan Love played great. 4 touchdowns, 323. He had some. I mean, he had some misses, no picks though. But you can't. He is not the problem here. He was absolutely not the problem. You look at a guy. I mean, you look at Josh Jacobs, 19 carries for 55 yards. There's one of the reasons that the Packers lost. You can't run the football. You have to run, especially with Josh Jacobs of all guys. I mean, this guy is supposed to be a perennial superstar, and he's going 19 for 55, 2.9 a carry. And in the second half, you just have to be able to run the football when you're up 18 points.
Right.
I mean,
right.
To start the half, they go incomplete, Jacobs for -2, incomplete, punt. Then the Bears kick a field goal. Jacobs for 1. Watson for 7, or Love pass to Watson for 7. Love incomplete on 3rd and 2, punt. Why are you not running the football there? Next drive after a Bears pick, so this is like the time to really put the nail in the coffin here. 6-yard pass, 6-yard run from Jacobs, incomplete, and then a penalty, 11-yard pass on 3rd and 20, punt. Then they score the touchdown, missed field goal. I mean, you should be able to put the game away on the ground there, and you can't do it. So, I don't know I don't know how Packers fans feel. That's all I'll say. To Sunday, Bills Jags. I knew it. I knew it about these Jags. I knew it. I love that I knew it. These Jags were not for real. Everyone was saying they were a Super Bowl caliber team. You can say what you want. It is Josh Allen putting on the Superman cape and going to be Superman, but Super Bowl caliber team just doesn't lose to one guy. If you're a good enough team, you should not be losing to basically one guy. And Trevor Lawrence, we said they were going to go as far as he goes. Had 2 picks, 2 interceptions in a playoff game. Can't have that. I heard some people saying the second interception on the final drive was okay because they were trying to press, but you're down 3. It's not like you were down 10 trying to press. You're down 3. You still have to be safe with the ball. They had a minute to go when he threw the interception. So, yeah. And the Bills, I don't know how do we believe in this Bills team to go on a run?
I'm not that convinced. I thought the game was over as soon as Liam Cohen went for it on 4th and 2. I knew it, said it's my friend. Bad decision. They're not going to get it. They're going to lose by 3. Boom. There you go. Dumb analytics, whatever. Take the points. Um, Little misses the field goal before the half. I thought he would be a weapon. The field goal that he missed, it was 54 yards. Everyone just assumes he can hit every field goal,
Yeah.
but that's still a long field goal. But he had a chip shot. They didn't take it. I was surprised the Bills actually didn't take a knee on first down and then try to get it in on second just to run more clock out. Obviously worked out for them. I'm not totally sold on the Bills, but the AFC, everything's wide open right now. And we said it before that maybe this was the better opportunity for the Bills to go in as a wild card, to go in as a road team, to go in as kind of take the road, the challenging road. Yeah, I know you weren't sold in Jacksonville. They were still a 13-win team. They were still won 7 games at home this year. Now Buffalo goes on to play, a Denver team that is very good, but they crushed them last year in the playoffs. A lot of pressure on Denver. The week off, they haven't really been in this spot. I think the Bills certainly have a good shot. I thought they made the plays when they had to. Allen was really good. He's played well in the playoffs. They're not getting to Super Bowls because of Josh Allen for the most part.
28 of 35, 273 and a touchdown.
Yeah,
and 2 on the ground.
11 yeah. They didn't get enough from James Cook. I think they're gonna have to change that. But how about 12 for 82 from Shakir? They're not gonna get everybody to step up, but they're gonna need one guy at least. Maybe Shakir's that guy. I would say I flip a coin. Bills have a shot. Good shot.
Yeah, I think this was honestly the matchup that they wanted going into Denver.
Yeah.
This is the one you want here, especially a Denver. You can say rest versus rust, whatever, but I think the Bills, they want to be running down that hill going into Denver. They feel like they have the momentum coming off an upset, quote upset. I just don't. Seeing the people in the pool at the Jags game, like swimming before the game, I was like, this is such a chicken shit stadium where this is so soft. This is playoff football here, guys. We should not be in the pool. They have to close the pool for the playoff games. It just doesn't look like a real football team, and they lost for that reason. 49ers Eagles. The 49ers lose George Kittle. They are missing literally everyone. And the Eagles still cannot find a way to win. I mean, A.J. Brown, I don't know how he's still alive, knowing Philly fans and how rabid they are. He might have needed to go into hiding just because of how, the drops are unacceptable, but just how rabid they can be about that stuff. I know Kevin Patullo, I think he's gone, the offensive coordinator in Philly. I think they fired him. But the offense is just so uninspired. It really is. It's a very just run Saquon, short little pass, deep ball to Brown. The formula is so easy, and there's just no inspiration. But they're following their formula of let's go to the Super Bowl, win or lose in the wild card round the next year, regroup, go to the Super Bowl again. So put your money on Eagles NFC champions next year.
Quite possibly. We knew the Eagles had a lot of deficiencies offensively this year. It played out. We knew, A.J. Brown, I don't know. I don't know how you have a situation that the Eagles have being so successful and there's still drama between coach and receiver. This is like approaching Terrell Owens territory,
They're screaming at each other on the sideline, getting into a fight.
Yeah. This was a game where Barkley 4.1, but he showed a little bit of that 2024 Barkley.
That's
right. It's 4 yards a carry, which for him feels low, and 36 for 140 on the ground. That's the formula. But again, only 168, less than 5 yards a pass for Jalen Hurts. Devontae Smith 8 for 70, but after that, Brown 3 for 25 with the drops and the drama. Man, the Niners. This is just about how resilient the Niners are. This is ridiculous. They lose Kittle. He's obviously done. Unfortunate, tears his Achilles. But Demarcus Robinson, 6 for 111. McCaffrey, 6 for 66. It's crazy because it's kind of like we were saying with the Bills. In a way, they're almost playing with house money. They're the biggest dog, 20-1 to win the Super Bowl. They're the biggest underdog this weekend. 7 points or 7.5. And yet they've been here before. The experience, the coaching. We talk so much about coaching. Like it's so easy for coaching to lose games, especially in the postseason. And each team had a really stupid coaching decision in this game. Sirianni took the last time out when they needed, because if they had not converted, which is what happened, they would have gotten the ball back. They would have had the 3 timeouts. They maybe could have gotten it back. Well, they would have gotten it back on a punt if they made a stop and had a chance for a Hail Mary. Shanahan didn't go for 2, which was odd. What's the difference between 3 and 4 at that point, or 4 and 5 at that
Yeah, I
point?
thought that
You
was
go for
really
2,
weird.
try to get it to 6, right? Because at least at 6, with the wind and
He'd
Elliott
already missed
struggles,
an
he
extra
missed
point earlier in the game.
so, and then Pinheiro missed it anyway, right? But even at 5 points, wouldn't have really done any good. So that was foolish. But here are the Niners. They're going to Seattle, division rival, 3rd time. They've already won up there this year. So this is just, I mean, look, win or lose this week, the Niners, if you're a Niners fan, you got to be so proud of how the team is. And there's maybe talk, I don't think it's going to happen, but Fred Warner maybe come back. I don't know.
Wow. That would be massive. That would be huge. Yeah, I just can't believe that there is an Eagles team that they won the Super Bowl. They've been to 2 Super Bowls in the last 4 seasons now. They've been to the playoffs every year, and it feels like I don't know, like it's just never good enough, I guess. Like they lose this game after your Super Bowl champs. It really should be, all right, that sucks that we lost. We lost in a wild card round, obviously, but we're not a horrible team, and they're acting. I mean, these Eagles fans are saying like, get rid of Sirianni. It's over. We're done. Like football fans are just so dramatic. They are. We all are. We really are. We're dramatic, but I mean, this is not cause for tear it down territory by any means. I don't know why anyone would even think that. Chargers, Pats. Chargers have no offensive line. They're also the Chargers in the playoffs in the cold. So I guess that's all you can say about this one. And Patriots defense, that's all they needed. They really didn't need Drake May whatsoever, it felt like.
Well, we got a low-scoring game. We got the Chargers in the cold, looking like the Chargers. We had Justin Herbert, bad offensive line. They're pretty much a waste of a playoff spot, too. I mean, I thought there were times when they showed pretty good resilience this year, but New England, they can win a game 16-3. They can win a game, 23-20. They can win high-scoring games. They put up a lot of points. They put up 80 points the previous 2 weeks. Yeah, I know it was the Jets and Dolphins, but still, 80 points is 80 points. I mean, going to be interesting to see, though. Will Campbell had a tough game. Will Drake May get enough pass protection this week against Houston? We know how good their pass rush is. So much of the Patriots' potential success this week coming up will be on Travion Henderson. With that's, the Patriots are going to have to run the ball, and they were very balanced, 29 for 146. Henderson, actually, Ramondre Stevenson's the guy we should be talking about. He had 10 for 53. Yeah. I don't know where the Chargers go from. They need playmakers. They need to put players around Herbert. He was sacked 6 times. He only had 5 yards of pass. They're deep into their depth chart and running backs and offensive linemen. But hey, New England, they win ugly too. They win ugly too. And it was kind of refreshing. We had all these like nail biting games. It was weirdly refreshing for me to see a 16-3 and a 30-6 game to close out the week.
Yeah.
Not every game has to be Roger Goodell's favorite drama. We can have a team playing, tough as nails, old school football in the cold and win games ugly.
Yeah, I'm not really sure where the Chargers are going to go from here. Jesse Minzer is somewhat expected to get a head coaching position. And this is back-to-back first-round losses for the Chargers now, and they haven't really been pretty. Harbaugh, I don't know what the expectations are going to be for this year. I feel like it has to be win a playoff game, or year 4 he will be on the hot seat. Is that fair?
Yeah.
If you don't win a playoff game, then you go into the next year with the hot seat?
Sure. I mean, he's 0 for 3. Jaguars, Texans, Patriots.
No, that Jags was Staley.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm thinking the Chargers. Right. Texans and Patriots. Okay, so yeah, 2, and then Staley. So it's just 2 years for Harbaugh, right?
Yeah, this was his second playoff loss in a row.
Right.
Both in the wild card round.
So I think he gets a couple more years. I mean, again, they won 11 games this year with all those injuries. but you got to put together a good roster. I mean, the coach has a hand in that too. It's
It's a
not
big
like
hand in it.
baseball.
Why are we sitting here saying he has no control over the players that come into the
Right.
locker room?
Well, he
Especially
does. He
John
does. I mean,
Harbaugh or Jim Harbaugh of all people.
yeah, I'm saying, he can't deal with the contracts and salary
Yeah,
stuff, but he can be a part of trying to get those free agents in, and obviously the draft, and that Kamani Vidal, he had a decent year, but they just don't have any big play receivers. McConkey kind of took a step back this year. Keenan Allen is
old.
much on the side of his career. Yeah, Gadsden, the tight end. God, I'm old. I remember him, his dad playing receiver for Miami. But yeah, they need playmakers. They have the quarterback. I think they have a good defense. They really do. They sacked Drake May 5 times. I mean, 3 by Owe, former Raven, of course. You have they have playmakers on defense, and they have. I don't know if Herbert's a championship quarterback. It's hard to sell that right now. But is he good enough if you put a lot of talent around him to get the Chargers deep into the postseason? I would say
I
absolutely.
think he's talented enough. I think he's absolutely talented enough to win a championship. I mean, no quarterback. It's going to be very difficult for any quarterback, no matter how good you are, to win playoff football games with a roster, an offensive roster, especially like this. I mean, the defense. You hold the Patriots to 16 points. You
Yeah.
should be ecstatic as a coach. I would be as a fan. I'm ecstatic, but they just can't. They can't score. They could not score whatsoever. Was there a defensive score in this game?
No, no. It was Hunter Henry's former Charger with 28-yard touchdown catch. That
Yes.
was the only touchdown of the game. So
Yeah. So pretty good day from the defense, not good from the offense, and that's Jim Harbaugh's offense. So, some point you got to get it together, got to figure it out.
yeah.
And then the Monday night game, we talked a little about it. Texans Steelers. It was kind of what we expected, a gross defensive battle for a while, and then it got ugly very quickly. Um, Aaron Rodgers looked really sad. He looked really miserable on the sideline. I thought it was kind of hilarious. And is this? I mean, this has to be it. I can't imagine he's going to come back. He only went to Pittsburgh to play with Mike Tomlin, anyways. So there's that. Um, and there's a lot of talk about Rodgers, but he's one of the greatest to ever do it, like to ever spin the football. So I think we do maybe just take a little step back and just appreciate that. Wow, we watched this dude. We watched his whole career, and he's done. He's the last, one of the last of that era. I think Stafford is the last one, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, like
What
of
the
that
20?
era of quarterbacks.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the few 2000s quarterbacks. All right, 2009.
Who's left?
Stafford, Rivers, I guess
No,
technically it
he's
was
got
Josh.
he's done. He'll be the head coach.
Oh,
He'll be the
Josh.
head coach of the Ravens.
Yeah, Josh Johnson was in that class.
Can't forget about him.
Yeah.
Joe Flacco.
Oh yeah, of course.
Flacco's still out there, but no, I mean, seeing Rodgers leave, as much as we rag on him for being himself, he is a legend, and to see him walk off the field for the final time. I mean, his last pass is going to be a pick six, which is kind of funny. That's hilarious.
Tom Brady's last pass as a Patriot was pick six. Obviously,
Yeah.
not his last ever pass, but his last. But I mean, how about Tomlin? I get that they paired together. I think it would have been better for the Steelers not to make it. If they they go out with a win, to go out like this, it's just so. Yeah, I mean Rodgers. It reminded me of Brady's last game. You knew that he wasn't on a good enough team. You knew he wasn't going to be able to do it himself. We were just thinking, God, Brady, you got to retire after 2020. You've done it. You've got the perfect ending. You go to another team, you win one more. Granted, he came back in 21 and won 13 games.
Went to the
and
NFC
they
title
won.
game.
It was a divisional. No, it was a divisional. But they
was.
came back from 27-3 to tie it. He was going Patriots Falcons 2.0. And we were like, okay, now if that's the last one, yeah, it's not a Super Bowl, but it's still a great effort. And then he goes and has this sad. He had never lost to the Cowboys in his entire career. The Cowboys hadn't won a road playoff game in like 27 years or something. And Brady's team just gets flattened. Yeah. And it was just pathetic. And that's what the Steelers did. And then that's you're right. And Rodgers, look, same thing. I rag on him. I don't necessarily care for the guy, but he's the last sort of remnant of the era of football that I grew up watching and loved the most.
I'm
So
fine with saying it's the greatest era of football ever.
I think so. I mean, it's I mean, when Rivers came back, but so those two guys are the only guys who played when Paul Tagliabue was commissioner, and ABC had Monday Night Football, and it was a spectacle. And we played in the era of Pro Bowls and 16 games, and week 17s that were wide open. It's just it's too bad. It's too bad. Rodgers sat, remember, for 3 years. Rodgers didn't get a single start until '08. He had one game where he played on a Thursday night against Dallas, played well, but he spent his first 3 years on the bench behind Brett Favre. So you wonder where his numbers could have been. He wasn't going to win with that really bad '05 team or even the '06 team. But remember that '07 team was 13-3 and went to the championship game. Favre threw the pick in overtime against the Giants. You never know.
Yeah.
You never know what Rodgers' legacy could have been with 3 more seasons under his belt.
Yeah. Yeah. He's one of the greats. So congrats to Aaron on a fantastic career. I mean, again, as if
Yeah.
you think about it as purely physical, I think it's maybe him and Peyton as like just throwers of the football and football
Yeah.
IQ. I mean, you can talk about Tom Brady, but feels like him and Peyton were really those 1-2 greatest physical players of the game. Peyton obviously was more the sheriff where he can command the offense. And Rodgers had a little bit more movement behind him. He could throw, the Hail Marys and all that stuff. Just gave us a lot of great moments, gave us a lot of awesome moments. So, you know,
He
yeah,
did. Yeah, he did. And again, feelings aside, remember, we're looking, we try to judge the art, not the artist so much. And yeah, I mean, look, he had an amazing career, and he wasn't always the guy that you necessarily rooted against. He kind of became a little more opinionated, a little more of a polarizing figure over the years. But early on, I mean, especially he had an amazing run in 2010. He didn't always perform the best in the playoffs. He seemed to save some clunkers for the playoffs after that, but yeah, he's a surefire Hall of Famer, and yeah, it's just going to feel like another sort of disconnection from that great era of football.
yeah, yeah. The years just keep moving on. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But and then you mentioned road playoff wins. The Bills. Well, Josh Allen wins his first road playoff game. Bills win their first road playoff game since '92. It's been 33 years since they've done that.
Yeah.
So maybe that's maybe a little bit of a sign. We might see a little bit of a Buffalo Bills run.
Yeah, and I was thinking about the coaching. McDermott actually made a lot of good moves. He punted in that game. They pinned him deep. Remember, Cohen made the mistakes. Mike Vrabel, man, busting his lip, celebrating
That's
with guys.
awesome.
I mean,
So awesome.
you see, have a positive impact. We just remember Liam Cohen's decision, or LaFleur, bad play calling, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, and I've actually find it's gross that I'm saying this, but I really find myself rooting for this Patriots team. This is a very
Yeah,
well,
it's like the kids. It's like the kids of those former. You know what I
yeah,
mean? It's like watching the Suns. It's a new generation.
and I mean, they have had their drama already with Stephon Diggs and who
Yeah.
was it? Not Kendrick Bourne. Um, who was the other guy who just got arrested there?
Not born. Barmore.
Yeah, yeah. So they're not exactly the most likable group, I guess, but I found myself rooting
Yeah.
for Drake May. I like watching his wife's cooking videos on TikTok. She's
And he seems like a good kid. Yeah,
yeah,
he really does.
yeah. His
You know.
brothers when he got drafted, his brothers did the video. It was like what I think it was in The Last Dance or something, and it's like pretty boy, bitch, something like that. It
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
hilarious. So he
Keep
seems
an eye
like a good
on
dude.
and another good guy. We've seen him on commercials. Christian Gonzalez. Keep an eye out. He's got a concussion, and that would be a big loss. Now with
Yeah.
also Nico Collins. So interesting because those two guys would probably be slated to match up quite a bit. Both are dealing with concussions.
And on Monday Night Football, when they did the graphic of who's playing who, and they had Texans and Steelers against the Patriots, I was like, wow, it feels like 2012 again. It always felt like it was either the Steelers or the Texans. And the Texans like going into New England, and especially the Texans going into New England. Remember the Letterman jacket game with the Texans with Arian Foster. They went in, got
Yeah.
their asses handed to them by Brady. Just remember, it's the years keep moving, but everything stays the same. Is I think the
Yeah. Two really bad trips for I guess we can kind of just segue. We're already talking
Yeah.
about Houston, New England, right? 41-28, 34-16. Matt Schaub, Brock Osweiler were the quarterbacks of those teams for Houston. I will say this. CJ Stroud's got to play better. He has got to play better. I am not convinced at all. I see a guy that looks tentative. I mean, Houston put up 408 yards to 175 on the Steelers. It was funny. There was an inverse of this game. You got to look this up. 2002, the Texans played the Steelers in Pittsburgh. They had like 3 first downs and like 40 something yards. Aaron Glenn had 2 pick sixes, and then someone else had a pick six. I think it was, they won the game 24-6. This was like the inverse of that. They could have won that game 50-6, but Stroud really looks, at times he just looks like a deer in the headlights,
21 of
but,
32, 250, touchdown, and a
and
pick.
then, right. But he
2
had a
lost
fumble,
fumbles.
right?
He
He
had
had
5 fumbles in this game.
Oh, he had
What
right.
was
That's what I was
even
saying.
Troy Aikman was like, what is going on with the snaps?
It's going to be cold in New England. It's going to be cold in New England too,
Yeah.
right? You don't know that you're going to the law of averages say you fumble 5 times, you're generally going to lose 3 of them. Okay, he didn't have a single rushing attempt, which not necessarily. I had 1. I'm sorry, for no yards. They ran the ball really well. I'm not sure they're going to be able to do 31 for 164 against New England. So we know how good Houston's defense is, right? And we know that we know that Campbell had a really tough game. We know that the Patriots' pass protection can potentially be a problem, but can you win a game solely based on that? Can you do it if your quarterback has a couple of critical turnovers or is hesitant and doesn't maybe run for that first down and tries to force a ball in there, right? And I'm not sure. And when I go to pick this game, man, Houston's 0-6 in the divisional round. At some point they're getting to an AFC championship game. And I'm very tempted to pick them because they've won 10 in a row. But but to me, Stroud is what's going to keep them from getting there. It's not going to be the defense. And if he doesn't have Nico Collins, boy, if I'm New England, I'm stacking the line. I'm banking on Christian Kirk not going 8 for 144 again.
Do you
That's not
see
happening.
Stephen A. Smith call him Charlie Kirk?
No, was that on purpose?
He did not do it on purpose, but he goes, we just saw Charlie Kirk go for 142. And his
Yeah.
reaction to it, and he just kept going. And the surrounding, I don't remember who it was on, but it was like the surrounding people go, Christian Kirk. And he goes, I'm sorry. Oh my God. He had the most
Yeah.
visceral reaction to making that mistake. I thought it was so funny. And then all the edits, it was like Charlie Kirk's face photoshopped onto Christian Kirk's face, or like onto his head when he's running routes and stuff. It was just great. That was a great mistake by Stephen A. I don't know why, but that just made me think of that. But we'll go a little out of order. We'll stay on Texans Patriots. Patriots -3 at home. Total 40.5. It's on at 3 p.m. on ESPN and ABC on Sunday.
I've been so bad picking games. So I'm going to say Houston only because I just feel like New England's going to be good for a while. This could be this young team that is figuring it out. I wasn't overly impressed with how they played against the Chargers. I'm concerned more about Drake May's ability to stay upright than I am about CJ Stroud's ability to not turn the football over. I don't think he's going to fumble 5 times again. It's hard to ignore how thoroughly the Texans actually dominated that game last week. I know they're on the road. It's such an albatross. They're the only franchise that's never been to an AFC championship game. But
and I would assume the Patriots are the team that have been to the most.
Probably to the most. Well, they've been to what? They've won 11, right? So they've been to 11 Super Bowls. So we know they've won 11. And I know Brady's record with the Patriots, he lost 3 to Manning, right? He lost 3 to Peyton, and he lost 1 to Flacco. So I guess he was like 9-4. Been to 10 Super Bowls, right? Yeah, he was 9-4 in AFC Championship. He went to 13 in the Brady era. Bledsoe went in 96. I mean, Bledsoe really won the game in 01. I mean, he played most of that game.
Here's a little nugget. The Pittsburgh Steelers are second. They've been to the most AFC title games. The New England Patriots are third. Wouldn't that be just a perfect, story of we beat the teams that have been to the 2 most, and to get to our first one, then they win that one and go to the Super Bowl.
Look,
I'm
and
just looking for storylines everywhere.
I'll throw out a little nugget too. If you look on like FanDuel, I'm so tragically upset for Floridians that they don't have access to it. But if you look at FanDuel has the hypothetical lines actually for all 8 possible championship game matchups. And if you look at the 4 in the AFC, they're all like 1.5 points. They're all, I mean, so whatever game we get, I said this is kind of why the Bills are like, every team's a coin flip. If it's Houston, Denver, it's going to be a 1.5 point spread. If it's Buffalo, New England, it's going to be a 1.5 point. Like every game at this point really is feels like a coin flip, and the odds makers are pointing that out. Although we know the rule of thumb is generally you get 3 points for home field, right? So if you're favored by 3 at home, it's really kind of an even match. And if you're favored by 3 on the road, it means you're really a 6-point favorite. But still, I mean, where the games are being played, those are what the spreads are. So I'm just going to take Houston just because.
Score.
I don't have the oh God, did I get? I don't know how well I did with any of the scores. It's going to be low scoring. I think it's going to be like 19-16. Be a lot of field goals. Borregales, Fairbairn. Maybe there's a missed extra point in there somewhere. I'm going to go 19-16.
I'm going New England. I think this. There's just I just don't see a path for the Texans team. I just don't. I think them having to go in the cold. And again, this is a very good defensive team, but I think the Patriots defense is right up there with them. I think you're not going to have that kind of cancel out where it's the Pats offense is so good, and the Texans offense is so bad that it'll cancel each other out. I think this is a championship caliber Patriots team. I think they're on a collision course with the Buffalo Bills right now. Because both of those games that they played were they both really close and very good this year?
Yeah, 23-20, 35-31. Yeah. Man, and I was saying Bills Patriots all week, and now I'm going to change it, but I'm doing it because I actually probably think the Patriots are going to win. So I got to pick the Texans, figuring I'm going to be wrong.
I'm taking the Pats by 2 scores. I'm going Pats 24-14.
To 10? 24-4. Oh, yeah, 2 scores. Yeah. And the ghosts of Matt Schaub and Brock Osweiler cannot save CJ Stroud on this day. Okay.
No, definitely not Brock Osweiler. Wow, what a name. I have not heard that name in a long time. Holy shit.
Got a ring. Want a ring with the Broncos. Beat the Patriots in that crazy overtime game in the snow in 2015, though.
Insanity. Bills Broncos, Saturday, 4:30 on CBS. Also, CBS and Fox do not have either of the Sunday games, which is kind of crazy.
That's wrong. I mean, it's all wrong.
Yeah, it all is. Denver 1.5 point home favorites, total 45.5. Josh Allen in the elevation. I want to see him throw it 70 yards in the air. Oh my God, he's gonna be gripping and ripping. I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, I'm going with the Bills. I feel like this is Allen's time. I was like, I'm not really sold on the whole narrative that at least the now that the Chiefs are out of the way, maybe that is the thing. Maybe that is the real difference maker here, and maybe the fact that they were able to win a game with primarily Josh Allen getting it done. You just wonder too, because the Broncos have played so many close games this year. They have great defense, but they've played so many close games. They've relied a lot on coming back. And this Bills team late in the year, I know they lost that game to Philly. It didn't mean a ton, maybe, but they had that win over New England. You feel like this is at least one of the years where Buffalo's playing maybe its best football at this time of year. Whereas in the past, you weren't necessarily sure. They always had a layup in the wild card round. They always had an easy game, and they killed the Patriots with Mac Jones. The only time they were pushed was against the Colts in 2020, and they responded with a better effort against the Ravens. But the blowout of New England in 22, they beat, was it like Skylar Thompson in Miami? They barely get by them, and they got hammered by.
That was in that playoff game.
That was 22.
That was
the 22
that
season.
was in Buffalo.
It was in Buffalo, and then they played a week. The Steelers, of course, with was it Duck Hodges or Tommy Maddox? No, it was
was it Duck Hodges?
Rudolph. No,
I thought
it was
Duck
Mason
Hodges
Rudolph.
got into that game at some point.
Maybe he did. I don't know. I think that might have been after his time a little bit. But that was another game where it was like the Bills didn't even play that well, and you just weren't convinced. And then they lost to the Chiefs the next week, and then last year they get to the championship game. Who they play in the first round last year? My God, I can't even remember. Was it
Was it
was
Pittsburgh?
it Pittsburgh again?
It might have been
Well,
Pittsburgh.
no, it was Denver. Oh, it was Denver. It was Denver. Yeah, they killed Denver. That's right. I mean, that was again a young Broncos
Okay.
team, but they did carry that momentum. They beat the Ravens, obviously, but I feel like this was one of the times that they had to go on the road and win like a really gritty game. I think that's going to serve them better moving into this week. And I just think Denver's a young team that I don't know. I just don't
Denver
know if
has
they can.
not had to face a Superman this year. A team that is
Correct.
okay enough, but they have Superman there. I mean, like this year's Chiefs, it wasn't, you know, Patrick Mahomes did what he could, but he wasn't Superman this year. They faced the Packers. They beat the Packers. Jordan Love is just not the guy that he will get you a win, but he's not going to elevate you to a win. Um, Josh Allen, I think he cancels out that they're winning these close games. They're finding ways to win the close games. And, it's kind of ugly, but again, they find their way. Um, I think Josh Allen gets rid of that. I think he is the one who says, like, you can't win close games against me. I am going to find a way to win no matter what. So I like the Bills here too by like 2 points or so. It's a one score
Yeah.
game. It's definitely a one score
Yeah.
game. What's your score in this one?
Yeah, it's not going to be a ton of points. 24, well, maybe a little more than we expect. 24-20 Bills.
I'm gonna go 20, 28, 25.
Okay.
Some weird, a little bit of weirdness going on too with the score. 28-25 Bills, book it. 49ers Seahawks. Seahawks 7-point favorites at home. Total 44 and a half. 8 o'clock Saturday night on Fox. 7 points is a lot.
It is a lot. And I do think Seattle will win just because the way they kind of smothered the 49ers last time. But man, it is hard to pick again. This feels like one of those really dangerous ones where everybody's telling you that the Seahawks are going to win and you really are starting to believe it, but you're like, this is the 49ers. Okay, Sam Darnold's on the other side. I mean, I would definitely take the points with the 49ers. But look, I would also be shocked if the Seahawks came out and smothered them again and won like 20-7. No. No. It's just a matter of this is Seattle's first home playoff game with fans since what, 2016 against
Has it
Detroit, I
been that
think.
long?
Yeah, they were home 2020 against the Rams, but obviously nobody was there. And all their other playoff games been on the road. They were in San Fran in 22, and they were in Philly and Green Bay in 19. They were in Dallas in 18. They didn't make it in 17 and 21 and 23 and 24. So yeah, that game against the Lions back in 16, the wild card game. It's been a long time. There's pressure on these one seeds. There's pressure on the one seeds more so when they're not established teams. Like Seattle goes from a non-playoff team to a one seed. Denver goes from a one and done 10-7 team to a playoff team. One seed. I don't know. I think it's going to be ugly and low scoring again. I would take Seattle, but this feels like one of those where the Niners just won't go away. It does. It feels like one of those games. It's just they're not going to be an easy out. I don't know. I'm thinking the score. What was it? The scores of the games this year were 17-13 and 13-3. So I'm like thinking, I don't know, either team get to 20 in this game. What's the spread? Is it 7.5? Did
7.
we say or 7?
Yeah.
A 7-point game. Then I'm not really picking the Niners to cover, but it's a push. But so maybe I'll say 16-10 Seahawks.
This is like the Niners have just been here so much. This is such an experienced Niners team. And this is gonna come. This game will really come down to coaching. I feel like more than anything, this is going to be a massive like coaching matters game, and I think Kyle Shanahan's a better coach. I think the 49ers find a way to win this one. I think it's Like, is he just gonna keep like losing in the playoffs? Is that just gonna be his thing where like his teams look so good and they just keep losing in the playoffs? Like, I think that Philly win was the big one to get out of the way. That was like the no one believes in us. I think people believe in the Niners here, and I believe in them. I believe in them big time. I'm saying 23-19 Niners.
Again. Okay.
Was that the last? That was the same one last time?
Yeah.
I'm doing it again. Fuck it. 23-19. Give me Niners 23-19. It just feels I think Kyle Shanahan is just too good of a coach. The one stat that worries me, he better not be down in the fourth quarter. He's won like one game when he goes into the fourth quarter
Right.
losing. That's the only thing that really worries me. But who knows? He could get out of that. He could find a way out of that. So, um, yeah, give me the Niners here. And final game, Rams Bears. Rams 3.5 point favorites in Chicago. Total 48.5. It's going to be cold. And Matt Stafford's first game as a Ram was against the Bears in LA. So take
First
that
game as a
as
Ram?
a
Was his
Ram.
first game as a Ram?
I believe it
Was
was.
not. Oh, it was in LA. Yeah, yeah. It's a Sunday night game, right? I think that was their first game in that stadium with fans. Stafford faced the Bears a lot, when he was in Detroit. I'm not sure what his record was those years. I mean, obviously Detroit got better in like year 3. The Rams are scary. Are we really going to have another parade in Los Angeles? The Bears are so feisty. I have a bad feeling that they're going to get a dose of their own medicine in this game. That the Rams are going to come back from and win this game. It feels like that whenever the Bears season ends, it's going to be in the same way that they've been winning.
Yeah.
Like they're not just going to get blown out, or they might have a game where they're way down and come back and fall short. But for some reason, I think they're going to blow a game.
Here's something very concerning for Matt Stafford. Sunday, weather 19 high, 8 degrees low.
Mm.
I'm not seeing anything in the
Stafford has
wind
been
chill.
Stafford's been a dome quarterback.
Feels like, let's see, game time, they're projecting the feels like to be 4.
Wow.
It's going to be freezing, and Stafford has historically not been very good in the cold in his career.
Look, there are a lot of reasons to pick the Bears here. I mean, the Rams were lucky to escape, I thought, last week against the Panthers. The Bears showed a lot of moxie. They kind of got that monkey off their back, if you will, and won a playoff game in 15 years. There's a lot of reasons to pick them. I really want to pick them because I really want them to win. I do. But I don't know. It's hard to ignore the talent the Rams have. It's going to be close, though. It is going to be close. I can't see either team because the Rams are one of those teams that just never goes away. Nakua had a great game, and think about it, he dropped that one. Could have been an easy touchdown. We saw Adams 5 for 72 in his return, but are they going to be able to slow? I mean, Coker had 9 for 134. Bryce Young put up 264. I mean, the Rams defense has not been all that great.
Yeah.
I will say Chicago is not going to be able to do what they did against the Packers, against the Rams. I really think, do you think about Micah Parsons, Tucker Kraft being out? That really hurt. I'm torn. This to me actually feels like the hardest game to pick. And I'm going to take the Rams in a tight one. Score, man, all the games were close last week.
Yeah.
At least you picked the blowout. But I feel like we will get points because I feel like it's counterintuitive in the cold, right? I'm going to say, I don't know. 3 is too obvious that it lands on 3. I'm going to say 27-23 Rams.
27-23. Matt Stafford 1-8 in games with rain or snow.
Wow.
With the Rams.
I'm just going to
54% completion percentage, 14 touchdowns, 11 picks, 76.0 passer rating. And then that does not include the game against the Eagles in the divisional round where he had 324, 59% completion percentage and 2 touchdowns. So, who knows?
Caleb Williams, USC, playing against the team that he, that the place where he went to college. I don't know.
And Ben Johnson has been making the Bears practice in the cold. He is not turning on the heaters. He said the players didn't like it at first, but they saw how it helped them. So the Bears are just finding ways to win, and they're not. I don't think they're losing to the Rams at Soldier Field. They're just not. I don't see that happening at all. So I'm going Bears here. I'm going Bears. Give me like a 5-point game, 32-27 Bears. Like, it feels like this Bears offense just, they score points. That's it. They're going to score points. It doesn't matter what the conditions are. They will find way to find the end zone.
Yeah, I mean, they were fortunate. Like, Williams made the big plays at that huge throw on 4th and long to Loveland to keep the
He
game
had
alive.
no
The
feet on the ground. Both of his feet were off the ground. He was midair. That was crazy.
I think but I think, turnovers, getting behind, again, the missed extra point by McManus changed a lot in that game. There's still an element of luck. Yes, the skill of being able to win these kind of games for sure. But when we've seen the Bears start bad, like they started really bad against the Lions, 16-0. Like it's living too dangerously. And that's not to say that the Bears can't have a game where they come out and play strong football, but I just worry about whether they can keep winning those type of games if they are getting behind.
Yeah.
They seem like they're more likely to hold the lead. Although, who knows? The Rams are good at coming back. So I'm taking the Rams, but man, I hope you're right. Love to see the Bears in the NFC Championship
That would be so
game.
awesome.
Whether it's
Give me Bears Niners.
They could host, yeah. They would host San Francisco in the NFC Championship game if it gets to that point. That'd be pretty much.
And we remember what happened last time they played the Niners.
Incredible. 42-38 in San Francisco.
That was like the fourth game of the year that we had in like 4 weeks or something like that.
Oh yeah. Like
it's been every game. This has been one of the best NFL seasons overall, I think that we've had in a really long time. Just parity. Yeah. We've had close games, teams coming out of nowhere, teams collapsing. Very, very cool. This has been an awesome year. We're almost at the end, so thank you for going through this whole journey with us fans. If you're even watching at this point, we're at 58 minutes. But that's where we're going to wrap up. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Go check out Draft America, Spring Hill Sports Cards. Go check out all of our score predictions. The staff picks will be out on Friday. And yeah, we will see you next week.